Deadly tension. U.S. and Chinese aircraft carriers clash in the South China Sea. The United States and China have deployed aircraft carriers in the South China Sea where the sovereignty claims of several countries overlap as they compete for naval dominance. USS George Washington was patrolling the U.S. 7th Fleet's area of operations, which refers to the Western Pacific and Indian Oceans, with a strike group, the U.S. Navy said. Meanwhile, CNS Shandong and 3 other Chinese warships were visiting Hong Kong, a special administrative region of China located in the northern part of the South China Sea. The Chinese Navy, the world's largest by hull count, is expanding China's military presence beyond its surrounding waters, including through the deployment of 2 aircraft carriers, the Shandong and CNS Liaoning, in the broader Western Pacific in June. The U.S. Navy operates the largest fleet of aircraft carriers in the world, with 11 vessels in service. The U.S. military regularly conducts operations in the South China Sea, where China's territorial claims cover most of the waters, to assert freedom of navigation. Photos released by the U.S. Navy show the George Washington conducting flight operations with its aircraft in the South China Sea on Tuesday. The aircraft carrier home port in Japan was operating near Japan's southwestern islands in the Philippine Sea the previous day. According to Philippine media, the U.S. aircraft carrier was operating in the West Philippine Sea, a geographic term used by the Philippines to refer to the portion of the South China Sea that lies within the Southeast Asian country's 230-mile-wide exclusive economic zone. The George Washington is the second U.S. aircraft carrier to operate in the South China Sea in recent months, following its sister ship, USS Nimitz, which conducted maritime security operations in the region in early June before being redeployed toward the Middle East. While the George Washington was sailing near the Philippines, a Chinese naval group led by the Shandong arrived in Hong Kong on Thursday for a 5-day visit. Several fighter jets and helicopters were seen parked on the flight deck as the Shandong sailed into the city's harbor. The Chinese aircraft carrier's visit comes as Hong Kong, a former British colony, marks the 28th anniversary of its return to China. Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee described the Chinese naval visit as particularly inspiring. It was not immediately clear whether the Shandong would conduct any operations in the South China Sea following its visit. The aircraft carrier is home port in Sanya, on China's southern island of Hainan, also located in the northern part of the South China Sea. The U.S. Navy said, George Washington is the U.S. Navy's premier forward-deployed aircraft carrier, a long-standing symbol of the United States' commitment to maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific region, while operating alongside allies and partners across the U.S. Navy's largest numbered fleet. John Lee, the chief executive of Hong Kong, said at a welcoming ceremony on Thursday, "The visit of the Shandong warship formation to Hong Kong will allow Hong Kong citizens to experience firsthand the grandeur and sophistication of the country's modern warships and better understand the achievements of national defense modernization. It remains to be seen how long the George Washington will remain deployed in the South China Sea. It is currently the only U.S. aircraft carrier positioned to help counter China." The presence of 2 aircraft carriers from rival superpowers in the contested waters of the South China Sea signals a growing military brinkmanship that could shape the regional balance of power for years to come. While the USS George Washington conducted high-visibility flight operations as part of its Freedom of Navigation patrol, analysts say its deployment is a direct response to China's intensifying efforts to project military dominance across the Indo-Pacific. The carrier strike group, equipped with guided missile cruisers, destroyers, and dozens of fighter jets, serves as a floating fortress, symbolizing Washington's military guarantee to its allies, including the Philippines, Japan, and Australia. Meanwhile, China's CNS Shandong, one of its newest and most modern aircraft carriers, docked in Hong Kong in a rare public visit. Though officially framed as a goodwill mission, the timing coincides with mounting tensions over Beijing's expansive maritime claims and its growing assertiveness. While docked, the Shandong carried out no military exercises. Yet its presence in the area sends a clear strategic message. China will not back down. According to military analysts, the deployment of aircraft carriers by both powers in the same region is highly symbolic and risky. It's a chess game played with warships, said a regional security expert. The margin for miscalculation is razor thin. One wrong maneuver, one false signal, and the situation could spiral into an international crisis. The strategic importance of the region. The South China Sea remains one of the most critical geopolitical flashpoints in the world. Trillions of dollars in trade pass through the area annually, and its waters are rich in fisheries, oil, and gas resources. While China claims nearly 90% of the sea through its controversial 9-dash line, the international community, particularly after the 2016 Hague ruling, has rejected Beijing's assertions as legally invalid. Countries like the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei maintain overlapping claims, many of which lie within their internationally recognized exclusive economic zones, EEZs. The United States, while not a claimant, has consistently emphasized that freedom of navigation and respect for international law must be upheld. It has increased its military presence in the region as part of its free and open Indo-Pacific strategy, a policy designed to contain China's maritime expansion and reassure its allies. What comes next? As the USS George Washington continues its mission, it remains uncertain how long it will stay in contested waters. Meanwhile, the CNS Shandong's next move following its high-profile Hong Kong visit remains undisclosed by Beijing. Some analysts suggest it may join drills in the South China Sea or near Taiwan, escalating tensions even further. The Philippines, increasingly vocal in asserting its maritime rights under President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., has welcomed the presence of the U.S. Navy near its territory. However, officials have also warned that the country must brace for potential retaliation from China, including gray zone tactics like water cannon attacks, harassment of Filipino fishermen, or cyber warfare. With both superpowers unwilling to back down, the South China Sea risks becoming not just a stage for power projection, but a front line for potential conflict. Diplomacy, clear communication, and adherence to international norms are urgently needed to prevent a local dispute from turning into a global confrontation.